All right, guys, you know what time it is. Dinner with Jair in under 3 minutes. I figured by now, if you've been watching my videos, you know how Jair tends to eat and the way he eats it. So I figured this time I'll show you how I make the food. So today I'm going to be making some spaghetti, Dominican style, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So I add some ají peppers, some tomatoes, and onions to a pan that has oil in it. So I let that kind of stir fry for a little bit, maybe maybe a few minutes or so. Then I add some sopita, or like the cube bouillon, I think it's called. I used to use Maggi, but I didn't have any, so that's what I used. Then I add some tomato sauce to that, and again I stir that in for a little bit longer, just until everything's kind of combined, and you kind of just cook the onions down a little bit and the peppers. Then I add a whole can of corn, and I stir all that together for maybe a couple more minutes. Then what I do is I add a little bit of evaporated milk, and I tend to do that little by little. My apologies for the way this video came out. I had my daughter kind of help me, and you know how it is when you ask a kid to help you with something, you kind of get the half-assed version of it. So again, my apologies, but again, I couldn't hold the phone and cook at the same time. So again, that's just that. So again, going back to the video, I added the pasta in little by little, just enough to make the serving that I wanted. Add the rest of the evaporated milk, and yeah, I kind of turned the fire down by this point. And then if you've seen in the beginning, I tend to I cut up the chuleta. I tend to cook mine in the oven beforehand instead of cooking it all in a pot. But again, that's just my preference. So I added both of those in along with some cheese. And again, I also add the cheese in little by little. I like a lot of cheese, but again, my family tends to not like as much as I do. So I kind of portion it out for them. And then I add my own extra when I make my serving. So I did sneak a little bit more in, but they'll be fine. So I added that in, and yeah, just started up so it's nice and creamy. And that's pretty much it. So while I'm letting that kind of cool down, I check on the kids and see how they're doing. They're doing good, and now we're off to dinner. So I give Jair his dinner. Again, as you know, this is how it goes. The battle of the juice begins. They did pretty good in terms of not fighting so much. I know Jair gets upset when he has to share, but again, he's fine. He'll move on. So he did pretty good as usual. He took both the juice and he took the food down pretty well. And that was that. Then for dessert, he had applesauce. Again, I didn't have no issues with that. As long as it's a cinnamon flavor, he does really well with that. So he kind of busted that down really good. And yeah, I don't have any complaints for tonight. So have a good night. Bye.